Welcome to the Heartlifter Way. I'm Janell Reardon, and this is a gentle space for emotionally weary women to breathe, heal, and carry life differently. Here on the Heartlifter Way, we walk the gentle path, grounded in what is real, expressing emotions with self-compassion, nourishing our nervous systems, trusting in God's daily presence and care, listening to our body's quiet wisdom, and embracing micro movements forward in hope. Today's conversation: what if healing is a renegotiation? Renegotiating your relationship with the past. As I walked into my client's beautiful home this morning in the country, I noticed on the table a beautiful, simple arrangement. A pot of fragrant basil with 2 Black-Eyed Susans tucked inside. The vase was handmade pottery with deeply etched markings. It took my breath away. I said to her, "Wow, I've never thought of putting basil in as an adornment in a vase. I've got so much basil that's so beautiful against the Black-Eyed Susans." And of course, I had to do a deep dive when I got home into the metaphorical mirrors of the Black-Eyed Susans and the basil, separately and together. Black-Eyed Susans are hardy wildflowers. They bloom through intense summer heat, withstand wind and drought, and continue flowering long after more delicate blooms have failed. To me, that speaks of resilient hope, not because life has been easy, but because life continues to emerge during the midst of difficulty. That sounds very much like our understanding of healing. It's also a Victorian flower that symbolizes encouragement and motivation. Wow. You know what that says? You don't have to push harder. Rather, just keep going. One more day, one more gentle heart lifter step. They also spread across meadows and roadsides. I know you've seen them, and that often symbolizes hope that belongs to everyone. It's a spacious place, right? And not just in ideal conditions. They just grow in a lot of odd spaces. I love that. They're beautiful, but they don't need perfect soil. So much depth to this understanding of this metaphorical mirror. And of course, they express cheerfulness. How could they not? With those bright, they almost have a little sunflower effect. Their bright golden petals just naturally evoke joy. And it's not superficial happiness. It really evokes a real joy. I mean, like I said, it took my breath away. And that's because I'm very aware right now. I'm becoming very, very increasingly aware of my surroundings in nature because they are really sources of wisdom. You know, a Black-Eyed Susan it makes you feel a little lighter. It offers some steadiness, some warmth, and a quiet optimism. It also can signature new beginnings. They're one of summer's later bloomers, so they can represent seasons of maturity. This is astounding, isn't it? Not spring's excitement, woohoo, it's spring, but the confidence that comes after growth. That feels especially meaningful right now. It can offer some sense of decades of lived wisdom. The Black-Eyed Susan, you see, is a mature flower. I think I'm really identifying with her. And then there's that center. Woo! The flower's deep brown center. The golden petals radiate outward from a dark center. Spiritually, I just can't help but think. Our lives don't become beautiful because we've never known darkness. Take that in for a moment. This really might be our lean-in moment. Our lives become beautiful because light, like a sunflower, continues to radiate from the places that once held pain. And this was very symbolic of this beautiful client today, sitting at her kitchen table with this beautiful vase, handmade, hand-carved, etched, with a Black-Eyed Susan and a Basil together, because she was holding great pain. It just didn't get lost on me. And then paired side by side with the Black-Eyed Susan was that Basil. Basil has traditionally symbolized nourishment. What? I know. When I read this, I was like, well, wouldn't that speak to the Heartlifter Way and our need and our foundation of nourishing our nervous systems? It symbolizes blessing, protection, hospitality, healing, and within the Christian and Eastern traditions of faith, sacred devotion. So together, the Basil offers nourishment, the Black-Eyed Susan offers resilient hope, and both are rooted and placed in that same handcrafted vessel. Wow. The vase, I'm going to go deeper into our metaphorical mirrors, represents our healthy containment that we've talked about last week and the week before. The basil is that spiritual formation. The Black-Eyed Susans are emotional resilience and hope. And all together, those three beautiful symbols really becomes a metaphorical mirror for the Heartlifter Way. Now, I'd already prepared this episode prior to seeing this incredible metaphorical mirror in my client's home this morning. So I just had to add that. It's a little bonus. But I've been thinking and captivated by a single word lately. It's not particularly flashy. It's not one we hear very often. It's the word renegotiation. When I first encountered it in my somatic studies, I'm in my mind-body certification and I am swimming in the sea of somatic experiencing and somatic psychology. And I've come across the work again of trauma therapist Peter Levine. I found myself lingering, really drawn to this word. And I thought, I've never taught about this word, but I am beginning to really use it in this new vocational calling in mind-body work and somatic work. And I really wanted to spend just a short time today introducing you to it and helping you understand it because it's critically important. Renegotiation doesn't sound like striving to me. At least it's not how it was falling on me. It doesn't sound like fixing. It doesn't sound like trying harder and harder, pushing. It sounds gentle. At least it fell on this new theology of gentleness that I'm hearing in my ears. It sounds hopeful and patient. And I realized this word feels remarkably at home within the Heartlifter Way. Remember, I'm working my way through this with you. We're in this 90 days of discernment. I am studying and researching and processing and trying to live my way into a gentler way of becoming in this life. And I'm calling that the Heartlifter Way. We usually think healing means fixing. I need to fix this. And I've pounded the table over this word fix for as long as I've been in practice. Because nowhere in the scriptures does it say fix this. It says fix your eyes on Jesus. Fix your eyes on the path that lies before you. Do not look to the left or to the right, but fix. And that fix is really is interpreted in those scriptures and translated as a gaze. Like keep that gaze focused, really seriously focused. Many of us have quietly believed, particularly women, or there are a lot of men who want to fix things for sure, that healing means getting over it. Just get over it already. Move on. Let it go. Be stronger. I wrote my 3rd book, Stronger Every Day. I told you I'm learning so much. It means never struggling again. That's not what healing means. What if healing is learning to have a different relationship with your story? As I told my client this morning, as I've studied grief recovery and to develop my coaching capacity with her, grief is learning how to carry your story differently. And that is what the Heartlifter Way is becoming. It's a way to carry our life differently. For me, it has meant stop pushing through. Stop, just put your head down and keep going. No. It's about living a gentler way of my understanding of God, a gentler way of understanding myself, a gentler way of having interpersonal relationships, self-compassion, all of these things. It's just gentler way. Well, this learning to have a different relationship with your story is what Peter Levine means by renegotiation. He teaches that trauma healing isn't about reliving painful experiences over and over again. It's about allowing the nervous system to discover on its own through patient, gentle caregiving and caretaking by ourselves and perhaps with a guide like I am with my clients, that danger is no longer happening in our bodies. The danger is stored in our bodies. So we have to be present with it. We have to be gentle with it. We have to process it and make meaning of it. It's no longer happening, but it feels like it is. So therefore, we need to give it some renegotiation practices. We don't erase the past, no. We don't pretend it never hurt. That would mean just move on, girl, move on, get over it, put it behind you, don't think about it again. You see, our bodies aren't going to let us do that because our bodies keep the score. They store the pain, the trauma. So we gently renegotiate how our body, mind, and spirit respond to it today. So this is a big day for me. Exactly 1 year ago, I went into what I now know is called atrial flutter. 1 year has passed. Wow. I'm just going to take a moment. I am so filled with awe at what this year has done in my life. Now, I waited 2.5 days to go to any type of urgent care or patient care. So for those 2.5 days, I was in an atrial fibrillation state, actually. And that was long. And I now know, looking back, I should have gone immediately. But I didn't know. I didn't know the signs. I didn't know the signals. I'm so used to living in survival mode that I just pushed through, kept going. And if it hadn't been for a weekend getaway to celebrate our 42nd anniversary, I probably wouldn't have gone until it was really urgent. Well, it was urgent. I don't even know what would have happened. I have no idea. But I thought I better go get this checked out before I go 3.5, 4 hours away from home. So I've walked through this birth season with you, and I've realized many things. I've realized now that I know what it means to renegotiate, that I have renegotiated almost everything in my life. My relationship with uncertainty, my relationship with my vocation, my ministry, my relationship with the church, with God, my relationship with responsibility, particularly, my relationship with my family and all the relationships within, my relationship with my own body after the cardiac surgery, the ablation. A lot happened during that 2.5 months where I waited to be cardioverted and then waited another few months for the ablation. There was a lot of waiting. I think I slept from August 1st to October 15th when I got the cardioversion. I slept more than I just slept all the time. The medication, the situation of my heart being out of rhythm. I felt like I was on another bed rest waiting for the birth of my twins. So it really has been a birth situation because it returned me back to an earlier time in my life when I was on bed rest waiting for the birth of two very special human beings. I renegotiated a relationship with my geographical space in which I live. Rob and I, as I said, are making a move across the country to the Midwest, or the Great Plains, as they say, to live closer to my son and then to be closer to my twin daughter, who will only be at that time a 45-minute plane ride away. I renegotiated my relationship with being needed by other people, my need of emotional manager. I renegotiated living in survival mode. I renegotiated so many things. Maybe you have been renegotiating too. Now that I bring this word to us and frame it in this beautiful way, you can go, wow, that's the word I was looking for. Don't you love it when someone talks about something you couldn't put a name to? That's what I hope today's conversation does for you. It helps you take a big, deep breath and go, oh my gosh, that's it. Over the last few episodes, we've talked about something called healthy containment. And I loved that I was able to teach this yesterday to another client. And if you're listening, dear one, you know who you are. I love this idea of healthy containment. Healthy containment isn't stuffing our emotions away. It's not repressing. It's not pretending we're fine. It's not emotional avoidance. It simply means I don't have to carry everything all at once. Take a deep breath with me. Sometimes we gently place difficult emotions into a safe container, knowing we'll return when we've resourced enough to process them. Oh, that's not weakness. Heartlifter, that is not weakness. That is strength. It's wisdom. And we've talked about living from a healthy center. For years, I lived from my outer circles. Family, clients, friends, church, needs, expectations, but healing and renegotiating this past year has been inviting me back to my strong center, equanimity, homeostasis. It's inviting me back to where my identity is rooted and grounded, where my nervous system is settled. I don't think I've ever truly lived from this place. Maybe a pocket of time here or there, but not daily consistently living. I'm remembering I'm already loved. 1 John 4, right? A healthy center doesn't chase the outer circles. The outer circles are nourished because the center is healthy. We've also been exploring this beautiful concept of sacred accompaniment. And one sentence just keeps returning. Remember, one of our basic 4 questions in the birth season is what keeps returning? Well, what keeps returning is that a heartlifter stands beside others, not between. That single sentence changed me. Because accompaniment or being a guide for someone doesn't rescue, doesn't need to fix, doesn't manage, it doesn't control. It gently companions the other. And I am seeing this as I am companioning my clients. I don't even call myself a coach or a counselor or a therapist. I mean, that's what people identify with. But what feels so right in my body is companioning. When I drove away from that beautiful client this morning in her beautiful home at her kitchen table overlooking a beautiful creek, seeing a cardinal go back and forth, and the beautiful Black-Eyed Susans and Basil in that vase, I felt so embodied, and it just felt so right. I took a moment. I pulled my car over to the side of the country road and took a moment. And I thanked God. And I thanked myself on this anniversary of that cardiac event. Well done, Janell. Well done, Reardon. Yeah, you did it. You've been through some hard, dark places, but that's that dark center that now allows the radiance of those beautiful golden petals to companion others along the way. And that's why I love the word renegotiation. It beautifully gathers together everything we've been learning. Healthy containment, healthy center, sacred accompaniment. Each one says the same thing. They really do. You don't have to fix yourself anymore. Take a deep breath. What a relief. Your shoulders should have just dropped. You don't have to fix anyone else. You don't have to force healing, force anything to happen. You simply become willing to relate differently, to open your hands in beautiful surrender and shift all of this from your weak shoulders to God's very strong shoulders. Remember, he says, hey, have you noticed how big my shoulders are? You begin to relate differently to your past, to your body, to all of your relationships, to your fears, and even to God, because healing now becomes a series of gentle renegotiations. Don't you just love this? The Apostle Paul writes in Romans 12, probably a very familiar scripture to all of you. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice he doesn't say try harder. He simply says be, and that's a command. Be transformed. Transformation is something God lovingly participates with us, one gentle surrender at a time, one micro shift surrender at a time. Doesn't even have to be big. Just can be a micro shift movement towards surrender. I've noticed this so much in my life this past year. I just can't believe it's been a year. Happy anniversary, body, I say to my body. Happy anniversary, heart. You have been shocked several times, and you have been ablated, and you are new. And the prayer that I had as I shared with you was, God, after the ablation, I pray that my heart is more in sync with your heart's rhythm than it's ever been in my life. And I think that it really is. There are situations that used to send my nervous system into immediate over-hyperfunctioning, trying to solve, trying to carry, trying to keep everyone okay. But now I notice that impulse, and as I write in Stronger Every Day, quoting that beautiful, beautiful phrase by Frankl, between the stimulus and the response, there is that little millisecond, where you can make a decision. So I notice the impulse and I smile, I take a breath, and then I quietly ask, what am I renegotiating right now? Sometimes I'm renegotiating my need to rescue, my fear of disappointing someone. That's a big one for me. Sometimes my belief that love means I've got to carry it all, do it all, be it all. what a heavy weight to walk through life with. It's not the gentle way we're trying to make our way in. And that simple question changes everything. So I have a practice for you this week. I'd like to invite you, when you notice yourself reacting, pause. Place your hand over your heart. Take one slow, gentle, deep breath. And then ask yourself, what relationship am I being invited to renegotiate today? Or you could say this: what situation am I being invited to renegotiate today? What feeling or emotion am I being invited to renegotiate today? What sensation in my body am I being invited to renegotiate today? What decision, what movement am I being invited to renegotiate today? Not, how do I fix this? Not, how do I stop feeling this? Simply, what needs to be renegotiated? Perhaps that is your relationship with disappointment, with waiting, with grief, with your adult children, with your own body, with rest, with yourself. Just simply notice. In closing, healing rarely happens in dramatic moments. More often, it unfolds through hundreds of tiny renegotiations. Did you hear that? It often unfolds through hundreds of tiny renegotiations, micro shifts, micro movements. One gentle conversation, one healthy boundary, one burden released, one deep breath, one courageous no, or one compassionate yes. You see, becoming a Heartlifter is not about becoming perfect. Absolutely not. It's about becoming someone who is continually willing to renegotiate life around the center of love instead of fear, around trust instead of striving, around presence instead of performance. And that, dear Heartlifters, is the gentle invitation of the Heartlifter Way. Until next time, receive this benediction. May you live from a healthy center. May you practice sacred accompaniment. And may you discover that healing isn't about fixing yourself. It's about gently becoming who you were created to be. Healing isn't a finish line to cross. No, it's not. It's a relationship we are continually renegotiating with ourselves, with others, with our story, and with our God. Peace be unto you. Thank you for listening today, Heartlifter. I am so thankful to have had this time and space with you. I know how many places and spaces compete for your attention, and for you to be here means the world to me. Please share it with family and friends, coworkers, and anyone you meet along your gentle path, your Heartlifter way. And be sure to meet me over on Substack at Heartlift Wellness or Instagram at Janell Reardon. May we pray our discernment prayer together. God, help me listen for what keeps returning. Give me eyes to see what is taking shape, ears to hear your gentle invitations, and courage to trust the unfolding process. May I follow peace rather than pressure, wisdom rather than urgency, and your presence rather than perfection. Teach me to honor the quiet language of my body, the wisdom of my soul, and the light you have placed before me. One luminous, gentle, faithful step at a time. Amen.